Alrighty, we back at it. I think this is episode 5 of Money Discipline. Gonna be going over one of my favorite things to do. One of the things that makes me feel like I have purpose in my everyday action, and that's setting goals. One of the biggest things that I've learned so far, 24 years old, have a lot to learn still. One of the biggest things that I've learned thus far is that money is a tool to use to get to your goals. It is not the end goal. Having the biggest pile of cash is not the end goal. Using money as a tool to get to your goals, to get to what you want in life, whether it's cars, house, whatever it is, or just supporting your family, retiring your parents, going on vacations, not having to worry about health bills, everything like that. Money is a great tool for that. A lot of people like to say money is the root of all evil. I like to take a little step further with that. I like to say the love of money is the root of all evil, because there's a lot of people with a lot of money that do really good things, but there's a lot of people out there that love money and love the power that comes with it, that do a lot of bad things to acquire more of it. So that's kind of the mindset I have, and a good way to check yourself is as you are continuing to increase your income. Hopefully you do year after year, right? That's what we all strive to do, unless we're comfortable with where we're at, whatever is best for your life, correct? So anyway, if as you continue to get more and more money, you kind of look at yourself and say, has my personality changed? Do I look at people differently? When I meet someone that's a little bit less fortunate than me on income or money or tangible items like the car, the house, the clothes, do I look at them differently? Do I judge them differently? The answer should be no, right? Because we all start at the same spot. Some of us are blessed with better, I wouldn't say better parents, but a bigger head start in some aspects of life than others. But you should never, as you increase in your income or wealth, as income doesn't necessarily mean wealth, but as you increase in your wealth, you should always check back on yourself. Make sure that you're not judging people that have less than you, right? Because we all come from the same spot. So good thing to remember there. What I like to do is I always, instead of just going out and buying stuff or whatever, I always say, all the goals that I normally make, 9 times out of 10, I could just go out that day and purchase whatever my goal is, whether it's a new car, a watch, these shoes, whatever. What I like to do is use that as motivation, which I'm not a huge fan of motivation, as I think discipline is a lot better word to use, because motivation is only fun, right from the start, the first 10% of your goal. If your goal is 100%, the first 10-20% motivation is good for. The rest is going to be acquired by discipline. So whatever I do is I say, okay, I want this pair of shoes, $300, whatever. Instead of just, go and swipe that credit card or debit card because I got $300 in my account, I can afford this. No, say, okay, well, I got $300. I don't want to take any money on my bank account, so I need to be able to pay for all my bills, save money, and then with my extra money, because I'm being disciplined, my weekly budgeting, as we talked about in the last couple episodes, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to use it to go pay for this. So instead of thinking of a goal or thinking of, I want this thing, it gives you time and it gives you motivation to keep that money in your bank, teaches you patience, and then you go and buy that thing. It's more rewarding because it's like a little win, especially shoes, $100, $200-$300 for shoes, whatever. That's a little win. It teaches you how to save money, how to plan, just a little trick mentally, and also teaches you how to say no in the moment to make sure that's what you want. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've used the 1 week rule where I wanted something and I wait a week and I don't want it anymore. Kind of like that goal where I'll sit there and make, oh man, this would be so cool to have, right? I mean, think about it in your house, how much shit you've bought that it's like, oh, I needed this right now, and you used it once, maybe never use it again. It's just collecting dust, kind of mitigates a lot of those purchases, and it also teaches you that discipline and the motivation and the time being to get that goal without spending money and overusing, living above your means of income just because you have it in your savings account. So money is a great motivator. It's a reason why a lot of people get up in the morning, is to go make money and hopefully make more money to help with your family, your parents, whatever it is. I like to also with money, using it as a tool. Going back to the main point of this episode, it is a great tool for bad situations, right? So whether it's health, whether a car breaks down, whether you need someone to, insurance for your house, you need someone to come clean your house, you need someone to cook for Thanksgiving because it's too much for you to do. Whatever it is, money is a great tool to use to help with bad situations. Knowing you can afford things that come unexpected is a great relief when you wake up in the morning versus like, oh, if my furnace goes out in my house, I'm screwed. Because that's can be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 depending on your size of your house, how many you have, anything like that. So having money as a tool, affordable tool that you can use, is a huge stress reliever. Whenever you look at thinking that as a goal or that's like an end result that you want, I'm finding, as I'm obviously not fully there, but I'm on the journey of being financially free, right? That's my end goal. Being in the goal for several years now, it takes a lot longer than what you would expect. Essentially, if it's that motivation thing, right? Once you start a goal, you're like, okay, I want to use money as a tool. I want to make sure I'm using it right. I want as much as that I can, so I don't have to worry about these big things. That motivation after 6 months is probably gone, right? Then, it's easy to slip back into, I can go out to eat or I can buy lunch for myself every day, versus keeping that discipline mindset. And like we always, like I always say anyway, discipline's like a knife. You got to continuously sharpen it or it's going to go dull, right? So it's when you're in a goal, you have to keep that discipline, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to take longer than you expect. As we know, nothing goes as planned. Only the big man upstairs knows what the goal or what the journey and the path is going to look like to get to wherever we end up. As a lot of times goals change, especially when you have a very long-term goal. A lot of times it changes and you customize it to how your life changes. Let's see here. When you are setting a goal like that, I'm sure a lot of you people who will watch this clip or episode understands or have seen videos that a lot of people, when you first start a goal, like let's say at 100%, your goal's 100%, right? The first 20% people will cheer you on. The last 20% people congratulate you because, you completed it. When you need people the most is, the 60% in the middle, the 80% in the middle, however you want to look at it. But that's where the discipline takes in. Motivation always kicks in at goals at the first 10, 20%, the last 10, 20%. In the middle is where discipline is. That's where the most people are lost. You start it that way because you're like, oh, this is new, this is fun, and you end it with motivation because you see the light at the tunnel. When the longest time is in the middle, when nobody's cheering you on, it's just you. Nobody understands and nobody, frankly, gives a shit about whatever you're doing in your life because it's not their life. As you don't give a shit about other people's life and the goals they're trying to achieve because you're worried about your own, right? Sure, you want other people to succeed and you're happy for them, as you should be, yet you're focused on what you're doing, as you should be. Too many people are focused on what other people are doing. You should be focused on what you're doing. If you're 100% dug into what you're trying to do, you don't have time to worry about what anybody else is doing or the other BS that's out there, right? So just realize that when you're like setting a big goal or a lifelong journey of being able to use money as a easily accessible tool to solve your problems, it is going to be a very, very, very long journey. Some people, like I said, are born more fortunate, I guess, than others. I use that lightly, being born more fortunate with parents that have a bunch of money. I prefer not to have it that way. Granted, I was very fortunate with my parents, yet they taught me the worth of a dollar very early. Instead of just giving me everything I wanted, I had to work for it and earn what I wanted. So it creates character, and you appreciate a dollar more, and you understand when you have that dollar that, like we talked about, is a worker for you before you just give it away. So it's a good mindset and understanding that it is a lot longer than what you are probably going to think it is. Also, I like having to acquire money on my own versus if family were to just give it all to you, because you really appreciate what money can do for you, and it's a tool, and you really get to learn what discipline's like and true budgeting when you don't have money. As if you get money, or if you lost my train of thought here. So if you're sitting here and you just have a bunch of money, then you don't know what the worth of it is. So it's easy just to give it away because you have more of it, or you don't know what it takes to acquire it. But if you can get the discipline and learn to appreciate it and learn how to budget when you don't have it, when you get more money, it's a lot easier to handle it, and it's more rewarding when you do hit those goals that are tied in with money, obviously outside of physical and sports or whatever else it is. So I think that's about to wrap it up here. I'm going to do 2 episodes tonight, keep them both around in between 10-15 minutes. So let's see, where to start. What you're trying to see about money. Yeah, so that's about it. Just always keep in the mindset that using money as a tool to get your goals. Make sure you don't get lost in money is the end goal, because it's not. You always got to keep in mind that is a tool to get to your end goals, and just understand that family comes first, your friends come first. Use your money to take care of your friends, especially if they're not as disciplined as you are, or as fortunate as you are to have the amount that you have. Make sure you never lose sight of that, as it can be an ego boost, and you can get lost very easily, where you always want to tell people how much money you make, how much you have. Nobody gives a shit. A golden rule that I find is that you should never tell anybody how much money you have and how much you make, because only 2 things happen. 1, if you make more than them, they don't like you and they resent you for it. And then 2, if they make more than you, whether you know it or not, they're going to think that they're better than you and that they're smarter than you, when either one of those in both situations may not be true. So just keep in mind, there's only very, very, very few friends, and to me it's maybe 1 or 2 friends, and then my mom and dad, that I can truly sit down and say, I made X dollars, this is how much money I have, yada yada yada, because there's no judgment there. Be very, very careful before you start telling people how much you make. I know it's exciting for you, but remember, nobody cares except maybe just 2 or 3, 4 people, because everybody else is just going to compare themselves to you. Very few people in this world will be happy generally for you, for your successes. So just keep that in mind, and understand, never let money ruin you. It is always just a tool. So we're going to wrap this up, do another one, and you guys have a good rest of your day.